Hey guys, welcome to Wednesday's live chat and craft. I have had to move into my kitchen to get this particular craft done because it's big. It's a large scale craft, and I'm pretty excited about it. So this is going to be a little bit of an experiment to see how our lighting goes and things like that. So hopefully you guys all have your craft projects ready to go and you're getting all set up and getting ready to craft along with me. So I'm trying out just having this be at 3 p.m. Arizona time every single Wednesday, and I understand that not everybody can make it, but remember that as soon as we're done with the live, it goes for replay into the Facebook group. And as soon as I get it edited, which usually takes me a little bit to get it all done, I do put it on the YouTube channel too. So there's a couple places that you can access live chat and crafts. If you have crafting that you want to do and you don't have any friends to do it with, and we can be your friends. You can chat along or craft along with me, and I just kind of go through what I'm doing, and you can do something similar, or you can just do whatever you're doing. So today our chat and craft is going to be, I'm going to do this great big sign. I'm pretty excited. So my husband and I bought a CNC router machine, and I will try to check the computer. It's a little far away from me today, so hello, whoever's here, hello. My husband and I bought a new CNC machine, which is a kind of a computerized router, so you can like cut out really incredible things with it. Last chat and craft I showed you our This Is Us sign, and so I'm just going to grab one of the signs that we got done. It's not quite done, where I still have some laurel leaves that are being cut out, but this is what the incredible machine does. So it cuts out these letters, anything we do, handwritten, whatever, it will do it on the machine. So for today's craft, I am making this great big huge sign. And I'm going to get started by turning the camera down on my project. Hopefully I'll do a good job of it. Hang on a second. All right. Okay, so yeah, right there. Get it kind of steady. I'm noticing it kind of has a weird look to it. Get the cord out of the way. All right. Okay. So this is my huge sign, and I don't even know, it's big. It's really big. What I did was I bought a picture. I'll kind of show you. I pulled it apart. I bought a picture in a frame from a garage sale for $5. So that's what the picture was. Not exactly gorgeous, but what I did love about the frame was that it has a kind of a cool border. I'm making a Halloween frame. It's got a cool border, and it's got this nice mat underneath it, which I kind of liked, and but I didn't like the color of it. So I bought it, and I'm going to make this cool sign. Well, first I'm going to Windex my phone so you guys can see this. But on Cricut Design Space, if you have a Cricut, on Cricut Design Space, there's a way that you can design whatever you want. Like you set it up and you design whatever you want. So I'm just logging into Design Space, and it's taking a minute. Okay, and okay, so here's my projects. Let's see. Oh gosh, the light is gonna be crazy. Okay, so this is the sign that I made. I'm gonna get this as close as I can and hope that I can. All right. Okay, how do I close this? Darn it. On my phone, it's not, it's like hiding it. Okay, let's see. All right. All right, so this is the sign that I designed on Cricut Design Space. So what I did was I put in the big orange square would be the size of my mat. So down here, this mat size is the orange square right there. And then the space that I have, this, you know, the negative space, where that is the white square. So the Cricut will only cut a 12 by, you know, like about 18, maybe it's longer, 20-inch pieces, and this is much bigger than that. So when I'll show you how to get rid of it, but I wanted to be able to design it exactly the size that it is going to be. So this is what I designed. Is it kind of in focus? I feel like it's a little out of focus, but this is what I designed right there. And I designed it so that the webbing is going to go on top of the glass, and the apothecary part, all of this stuff is designed to go right directly on the glass to kind of give it a 3D effect. Then the old Black Magic is also way too big for my Cricut to do, but I didn't really want it to be vinyl. I wanted it to be out of the machine, the letters that the machine will cut, the CNC. So while this project took forever for the machine to cut, you can see I had Kevin cut out 3D letters. This is the old, and those are going to go directly on the glass too. So this is how I designed my project on the Cricut, even though I'm going to be using different materials and I'm not cutting everything out of the Cricut. So when you go to make it, well, I have my wrong machine in here, but when you go to make it, it's going to tell you that some of your layers are too big, and it's going to not like my orange square, my white square, because remember, those are my mat and the space here, just so it would help me design everything in the right, to the right size. So when you go into your design space, when you go to cut this, I have to actually turn off by clicking the eye that's by the layer, turn off the orange, the white, and the old Black Magic, so that it knows that I really only want it to cut the webs, the witch, and the other elements there. Okay, so I apologize. I think I see Sky. Hello, Sky. And Mandy, hello. I can't see you guys very well, the computer very well, but anyway, this is what I'm going to do today. So ahead of this project, I started weeding all my pieces. So I'm gonna try and, so I'm dragging this a little bit just so I can not have to bend over a crazy way. So what I did, weeding is one of those activities that you kind of have to just do. It takes a while, especially for a project like this, but it's going to be totally worth it. So I cut those out, and then I weeded out the negative space on all of these. And I'm going to finish up. So like I said, get out your craft too, whatever you're doing, because I got a couple little things I got to finish up before I can do the sign. I've got to weed out these last two houses, and then I got to put everything on on transfer paper, which of course I forgot because it's a lie that I always forget something. But anyway, I'm just gonna quickly, as quickly as I can, I'm gonna weed all these. I like to weed on a piece of paper like this so I can just like stick the little pieces to it, because you definitely don't want them sticking to, you know, your project or other elements of your project. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just quickly get all these houses pulled and weeded. I couldn't find my seam ripper, but I find that that works better than this little tool they give you, actually. And some of this stuff is so tiny that I'm really worried I'm gonna pull up more than I want to. See, the little windows are coming up. I can't imagine doing these any smaller than this. These little haunted houses, they're really tiny. See, look at that, like a little baby. I've got these little spires up here. How's you guys' week doing? Kids are home for fall break, which means that there's a lot of boredom faces going on around here. I'm being told a lot that everybody vacations but us. But this afternoon I came home and I walked into my kitchen and it smelled like somebody had actually gutted a bunch of fish in my kitchen. And I was like, what the heck is that? And of course, Chase had come in and had some tuna for lunch and just basically threw the bowl into the sink and walked away. And oh, it took me a couple hours to get rid of that horrible smell. It was so bad. Oh, okay. The other thing I don't love about weeding black is that I find the cuts really hard to see. But it looks like the light's okay. Looks like we're doing okay on the light. That's good. That's very good. So anyway, that I had to clean up that tuna to be able to even stand to be in the kitchen today. It was crazy. I think I got to go downtown today downtown Gilbert. They all went out to breakfast. That area is getting to be really, really cool. They're putting in a bunch of like cool restaurants you don't see everywhere. They went to one called Snooze, which is a breakfast place, and honestly, it kind of reminded me a little bit of the Jetsons, a little bit kind of a retro 50s diner vibe, but not in the red and the silver that you normally think of. It had like kind of fall colors in their logo. It's kind of cool. It's kind of like browns and kind of burnt orange color, that kind of thing. It's pretty cool down there. I think there's probably a lot of nightlife goes on down there. Like there's probably a lot of bars too. They wouldn't be open for breakfast now, would they? I'm so happy to be crafting today because I caught the flu or something. It probably wasn't the flu because it only lasted a couple days, but man, all I wanted to do was sleep. So I put on that. Have you guys been watching that Netflix? I don't know. I can't decide if I like Netflix or not, but we started watching a brand new series called Raising Dion. I think it must be, I don't know if it's Marvel, but I think it's a comic book one, but super cute little kid. And he's 7 and his mom finds out he's got these superpowers. And of course he's a 7-year-old kid. So he uses them like a 7-year-old kid would. Gets in trouble, messes things up. It's pretty cute. And that little kid is so cute in it too. All right. One more, girls. We'll start doing this. I like this house. I've already weeded one of these, so they didn't have enough different houses to go along the bottom, so I kind of had to do a little bit of a repeat, but super cute, these little haunted houses. And these are all of these images are just, I really just utilize my Cricut Access membership to get all these images because there are so many images on there. Everything you're seeing that I've used is just stuff you can get for their from their image library. And the only thing I don't tend to use a lot of on Access is their fonts. I don't know why. I feel like they could increase the number of fonts that are available, and especially on the Access. But just an opinion. A lot of times I will just get the really, really cute fonts from the Hungry JPEG. I'm always buying stuff from the Hungry JPEG, but fonts are one of those things. This time of year you can get like the Autumn Spice font, which has leaves in it in each of the capital letters, which is really cool. Makes it look kind of Scandinavian, I guess. But that one's a cool one. They've got a Forever Fall one, kind of a nice handwritten font. So anyway, and a lot of times they give them, they're free. And then if you want to sell your crafts, my favorite thing about Hungry JPEG is most of the clip art and fonts, and all the clip art and fonts that you buy in their bundles, they all come with a commercial license. So you can use the fonts and images to create things that you sell in your crafts and stuff, and you have commercial licensing. So you don't ever get in trouble for using something that you don't have license for, which I think is pretty cool. Not that I'm selling my crafts, but I think it's cool that you have that with it. All right. And that's what allows me to put stuff on the blog on the free printables library. Everything I can do there, I get to do that because I get it from Hungry JPEG. Anyway, you can see why I went through several episodes of Raising Dion to get all of my stuff weeded yesterday. I did it late at night because I had to work, of course, because we all have to work. But did it all last night. I just didn't quite get everything done. Oh man, the vinyl is so sticky. The one thing you will notice about me, I am not a perfectionistic crafter. Don't really worry about it too much. I do it. I just try to enjoy it, because you guys know that my big thing about why I started doing the live is because I think that women need to exercise their creative muscles. I think it's really good for them, and there's, you know, quite a few women out there that love to do that through crafting. And so I just wanted a place they could go every single week, like an appointment. I mean, it's almost like seeing your therapist, right? You just have to make the appointment and go. All right. So now that I have all of my pieces weeded, I'm going to pull them off of here, and I'm going to work on the mat next because I got to get the mat ready. And I got to get the background ready. So, a big ball of vinyl. All right, so I'm just gonna turn this over. This is the backing. Get that out of the way. And I'm going to figure out why my mat is still kind of stuck there. Okay, hang on. It will be coming back. Just flipped over. All right. Okay. All right. So I had to take off the wire to get the back off. I'm just going to put that out of my way for a minute. So this is the mat, and remember this was the picture that was in it, inside the mat. And what I wanted to do, because again, just as a reminder, this is what we're making. So I definitely didn't want that picture behind it. I wanted something that kind of looked a little old and a little rustic. And so I found this at Hobby Lobby. So this is a poster board that looks like kind of a farmhouse. It's like a farmhouse piece of poster board. Okay, so this is what I'm going to put behind the mat. And I don't know if you can see this, but it's kind of, this is kind of yellowy and kind of like a weird color of browny gray compared to this, and I like this a lot better. So I'm going to treat this, but first I'm going to take this. I'm going to turn this over. Again, that's just poster board that I bought, and then I'm going to trace this. Because I wanted exact size of what was in there before. And I'm going to do a quick cut. So this is my, all right. I feel like my thing is rolling a little bit. Oh, okay, there we go. All right, so this is what I'm going to just cut this so I have it. I noticed that I got one with a little tear on it, but it's okay. I have enough going on my sign that it's not going to be that noticeable. My scissors are squeaky. All right. Okay, so now I've got my piece ready. It's a square, so it's perfect and ready to go. And it'll be inside this. Again, so yellowy compared to that. I don't like it at all. So this is what I'm going to do. And if anyone's joining me late, I apologize. My computer's like across the space. I can't really tell who's getting on, but welcome. If you're coming in, we're so happy you're here. All right. I've decided, I found this scrapbook paper. So I found this scrapbook paper that I felt was not quite, I thought it was a little whiter. I liked it a little bit more. And it's kind of, it's like, it looks like book writing, kind of like old book writing. So I figured, I'll give you guys a visual as I'm doing it. I figured it kind of goes with this. Again, with my design, I don't want to distract from it. I wanted this to be pretty neutral. So I'm going to pull in my, I'm going to get a, I mean, not that my table's all that special. It's pretty banged up from everybody using it for everything. For, let's see, well, a long time. I think I've had this table, gosh, I know I've had this table since before Parker was born, and he is coming up on 23 years old this year. So I've had it a while. All right, so I'm just going to use some Mod Podge. I never say it right. I'm going to use some Mod Podge to put this book paper on to my sides. Like I needed to. I'm really using it like it's glue, but so I'm gonna, and I just used my paper cutter. This was just a couple of 12 by 12 sheets of scrapbook paper with the little writing on it. Kind of like little writing like that on it. And that's what I cut into, I think it was like 2 1/4 inch squares, but whatever the mat was what I was doing with it. So I'm just going to put this all around the border. And now I'm worried about getting this craft done on time. See how fast I can do it. All right. I do love that the chat and crafts make me get stuff done. That is one of my favorite things about it. Because, boy, it's easy to like put it off and never get it done. And I have to tell you guys, I am getting so many more crafts done because I know that I have an appointment on Wednesdays, and so I better get a project together because I know that I'm crafting and I love it. It's so fun. It makes it too more fun to go to like Hobby Lobby and Michael's and Joann's and all those places because I know that I've got things coming up and I can kind of, I don't buy as many craft projects thinking, well, someday I'll do this. I more think, okay, I know that I've got to do this. Sorry, I'm off camera. I can tell very little about what's going on the camera, except if I'm on it or off of it, I can kind of see my hands waving around. But I absolutely love creating new stuff for my house. I put up my Halloween this weekend, and you know, a lot of the stuff, because we have to store our holiday stuff, you know, a lot of the stuff was getting pretty worn out. I live in Arizona, it's hot, and so, you know, it kind of gets up under in the heat. We put them out in our garages, and it just doesn't fare very well, and so I had to throw out a few things because they just kind of were not looking all that good anymore. And so it's nice to be able to know that you're going to create a few new things every year, and then you don't have to feel bad that you're getting rid of some of your older stuff. I keep a couple of things out of nostalgia, but mostly I try to not put everything up in the exact same spot. Oh my gosh, I was so guilty of that for so many years. Anybody else do that? I totally do that. I was so bad at one point in time that I would take pictures of each of my rooms and each of my displays at Christmas time and put them in an album. This was before our phones, ladies. I would put them in an album, and I would make sure that I recreated every single thing exactly. And I admit, sometimes I still do that because I still have the old villages. I don't know, I just can't give them up. I have an old village. Do you remember those, the light up villages? I know they're not super popular anymore, but anyway, I still have mine. And but I would do it with everything. I'd take pictures of my trees. I'd take pictures of every, like my china cabinet. I would just completely recreate my displays exactly. It wasn't very creative at all. And I can't believe I used to do that. That's crazy. So the chat and craft gives me, and the blog, give me a great excuse to absolutely create something new all the time. And you guys are going to die when you see all the signs that are coming out of Kevin's sign shop. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited. They're going to be for sale, and he's going to do custom ones too, but right now he's working on a bunch of Christmas ones, and they are amazing. So maybe next Chat and Craft will do another one of those signs. They're so cool. But this one is very DIY, girls. You girls could do this one because it's just, you know, that that Cricut machine. And if you don't have a Cricut, a lot of people have them, and I'm sure you can find somebody near you that you could have cut it for you. Nicole and I both have one, and we love them. And we use them for really different things. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but what I craft and what she crafts are very different. So I'm kind of excited about all the different things I can do. I recently upgraded to the Maker, which felt quite indulgent, but everything I've done on it so far has been magical. So okay, so this is a witchy sign, so it does not have to be perfect. I'm not holding myself to that standard. So now you kind of see, you can see the overlappy lines and stuff in it, but I think that kind of gives it a little character, makes it look a little more old and witchy. Okay, so now it's time for me to get my glass back here again. Okay. Just sliding this to the side for a second. I'm going to pull this in. Again, in case you came in a little late, I got this bad boy for $5 at a garage sale with the mat and the picture and everything in it. So it does not have to be expensive, but it is super dirty. I don't know where they were storing this thing, but ugh, it is bad. And I'm not entirely sure it's going to come completely clean. But I'm doing a witchy Halloween one, so it doesn't need to be that way, right? That is one of my favorite things about farmhouse signs and stuff, is there is no need for perfection because the scratched up look is like really in for it. So, all right. Still dirty on the other side, but I think I got that one pretty good. So I'm going to try and get my frame, not entirely sure, my mat back in here. You gotta get it past all the nails and things without touching the glass, which is of course quite challenging for me. Probably touched the glass 9 times now. I tried not to pull out the actual staples they use to put everything in because I want to use it to put the backing in. I don't want to have to re-staple it. Okay, one more roll for the fingerprints that I didn't mean to leave behind. And then this is my paper I'm going to put in there. I'll put it there. This is probably exactly the wrong tape because it's like super easy to remove, but it's what I'm going to use to, I know it's the wrong tape. You're supposed to use that like paper tape and stuff. But this is how I craft. I use what I've got, right? One more on the bottom here where you can't see me. And all right, let's see how I did. Slide it out of frame for a minute. All right. I'm sorry about the lights, but it's getting a little dark in here, so I think I might have to leave them on. They're kind of annoying. All right, so this is what it looks like. I'm sorry you can't see the whole thing, but you get the idea. What's kind of cool about it is it looks a little like, it looks a little 3D like in there. This thing is like really dirty, like super extra dirty. Okay, so I'm gonna work on the top part first. It's a square, so it's like whatever. So this is what I'm gonna put at the top there. So of course I forgot my transfer tape, so I'm gonna go grab that real quick. I forgot the hair. Okay, so I've got my transfer tape here, finally. And I'm just going to, I want to put this on transfer tape. Right now I'm just going to kind of lay it out a little bit so I know what I'm doing. I'm pulling out my design again. Reminder, this is what we're making. Okay, so the old Black Magic is going to go like about, I'm going to do this so you guys can kind of see, maybe you can kind of see what I'm doing too. So there's the old, here's my Madge, kind of comes in pieces the way it's working. Okay, so old Black, and the L is this crazy little rolly piece. Isn't this just the coolest thing ever? I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I think these letters are so awesome that he can do these now. So old Black. This is the C. The magic goes in there. And the little, we never, I think he painted, I think it needs to go like this, but we'll just go like this. It's fine. Magic. Old Black Magic. Okay, so that's those 3D letters. We cut them out of MDF with the CNC machine. And then we've got these houses. So we've got, sliding it up again because it's such a big sign I couldn't get the whole thing on. So there's Old Black Magic, and then we're going to have Apothecary right here. And I'm kind of debating if I should put it directly, this part directly on the glass, or if I should put it down on the wooden sign. I don't know. I'm debating that one a little bit. And then we've got, whoop, not that one. Got my witch right here. Looking at my design. I've got my potions, cauldrons, and spells right there. And then somewhere here, I don't know what I've done with it, is my brooms and my established. I am not sure. I will have to find that. I have misplaced that one. And I'm sliding it up yet again. These ones I want to have go along this bottom here. So just taking a look at what I had envisioned it as. Looks like I did this one. So Old Black Magic is probably going to have to go up a little bit for all of this to fit. So I'm, like I said, I'm not a super meticulous crafter, but I do want everything to fit. I don't want them to overlap too much. Okay, so I've got these little houses that I've kind of set up here that are going to go along the bottom. That one, another skinny. This one, and this one, and this one. Okay, so that's the basic idea. Oh, I found it. I found it. And this one. So that's my layout for this. That's what I'm going to put onto the glass. This is how I'm going to do it. And I'm just going to, I'm either going to hot glue these or I'm going to use a little epoxy on those. But what do you think? Looks pretty cute, right? I mean, I think it's going to come out to be quite a cool sign to add to my Halloween sign stuff. So I'm either going to start at the top or the bottom. I think, trying to get the camera a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to start at the bottom. I think one of the two, right? Gotta pick. So I'm going to start with the little. Okay. I'm trying to. Hang on a second. I just got to move something so that I can give you more space so you guys can see more what I'm doing. Okay. Just want you guys to see what I'm working on because that's not very much fun if you can't see what's going on. I know some of you are making dinner. You guys are good at that. You guys are good at using my craft time for, I want you to use it for crafting, but I realize that sometimes that is on a replay. That's not real life for what you've got going on. So I'm just kind of like figuring out like how big a piece of transfer tape I want to use. I will tell you a funny story about getting started with transfer tape and with, you know, just generally working with the Cricut. So I hated the Cricut at first. I mean, I absolutely hated it. I thought it was just, it was frustrating. Everyone said you could do anything with it, but I couldn't get it to do anything. And it was just one of those things where I was like, I was very frustrated with the Cricut for a long time. Sorry, I've got glue on my fingers and I don't want it to transfer to my cool vinyl. So I decided that I was going to just watch there's like 5 lessons when you first get your Cricut. They're video lessons that Cricut gives you. And I decided I was just going to watch those 5 lessons and I was going to start, you know, crafting as fast as I could, learning how to use Design Space. Well, you know, one of the first things that they teach you on it is to use transfer tape. So I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to use transfer tape at all. I just wanted to be able to pull up the vinyl. It just seemed like such a waste of time for me to, you know, actually transfer everything up onto the transfer tape and then put it on. Why couldn't I just peel it off? Well, if any of you guys have worked with vinyl, you know what a disaster that was. Everything I peeled up stuck to itself, rolled over. It was just terrible. So you have to use transfer tape. You just have to. And you can reuse it a couple of times before you're done, so it's okay. It's okay. So there's my first one. Now I'm going to use an old trick that I had. So I'm putting it back on just lightly back on its backing, because if you don't, it will stick to something. Guaranteed. I've had it happen about 1,000,000 times. So I know that this is my general layout with this. And I know that, you know, this is kind of how I want everything to lay out. When you're in art classes, they always tell you, like, you know, to find your middle thing and then put your middle one on first, so that middle letter so that you can do your letters out, and your letters out this way, and then you're never, it's always straight and it's never off to one side or anything like that. So given that idea, I'm going to put this one on first. So I'm just using more transfer tape. And transfer tape is just like every other kind of sticker. You can't ever get it started, no matter what you do. I don't know what that is. All stickers thwart me, which if you guys watch any of my lives, you know, because sometimes I do really easy crafts. Sometimes I do like card decorating and stickers thwart me. Sometimes I'm not doing stuff as complicated as this. Okay. These houses are transferring pretty easily over. Thin cursive lines, oh my goodness. Those are so challenging sometimes, I tell you. I have ruined so many cursive. Okay, so this one is ready to go. And what I'm going to do is probably stick my head in the camera, but I'm going to try not to. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, this is the middle of my sign. And I'm just eyeballing it because I told you I am not like particular. I'm not selling this to anybody, so I don't feel like this need for it to be really great. It's just for me. It's my sign. And so I'm just going to stick it down. And then this time I really want to make sure it's stuck on the glass. So I'm just going to use a little scraper, make sure it gets stuck on the glass. So okay. And that is some sticky transfer tape. Okay. Cute, right? Turned out really cute. Okay. So now I'm going to do this house because it's right next to it. And I think, yep, I think that this transfer tape will work fine for it. So just to make sure I have enough room at the top, I might get 2, maybe 3 of these onto a transfer paper piece before that one's just done and have to move on. So I always buy a lot of transfer tape. I know I haven't ever done it. You guys can comment if you have, but I understand that you can buy like contact paper, like sheet shelf liner kind of paper at the Dollar Trees, and that's good for low tack. Sometimes you don't want really sticky transfer tape. So I'm just bending it and pushing it back on the paper if it's resisting and coming off. So that's what I'm doing. All right. See, this doesn't have to be complicated or take a long time. I just want to see my side spacing. Again, my project, so I'm not going to be too worried or too precise about it. I think that these would be so cute to buy as a kit, wouldn't they? Just have the vinyl come to you all cut and ready to go. Be fun. I guess I could do that for you guys if you wanted to make one, but I don't want to weed it, girls. I'm sorry. You'll have to weed your own stuff. Okay, so this one, the transfer tape, if I were to use this whole piece of transfer tape and just do the skinny house on it and put it here, the transfer tape would stick to this next one and then you'd have a mess. Done that too, ladies. So don't do that. I'm cutting the transfer tape in half for my third use. Hopefully I'll get it through my third uses and it will work. And then I'm just going to put my skinny houses on them since they are going to go to the next couple places. Now I've got a couple little bubbles in here. They're really tiny. They don't really bother me. If they bother you, you can put a pin, just like a straight pin in it, and they will, yeah, so you guys can see it's sticking okay, but it kind of was a little resistant. It's starting to get a little dry. Okay, so. All right, using my, when I first was using transfer tape and I get this like white, it's difficult for you to say, but it's kind of like white bubbles on it. I start freaking out and thinking it was going to transfer over onto the vinyl, but it really doesn't. The trick to making sure that your vinyl will stick nice and smooth is making sure that it's really smooth when you put it on the cutter. Like sometimes you'll be tempted to use a mat that is like not as sticky as it used to be. Don't do it if the vinyl isn't sticking down. That's when you get that's when you're going to get the bubble ups. Looks like I'm going to have to use a little bit of pins on a couple. But isn't this cute how these are like showing through? Can you guys see that with the book paper is kind of showing through there? It's so cool. Sorry, I had a weird pop-up, so now I can't see any of you guys. All right. This is my next one. And it's going pretty quickly. My transfer tape was kind of really crooked on that one, so I'm going to trim it off so I can get it to stick where I want it to. Okay. That one's just going to go right on. Yeah, I thought that the trick to getting the vinyl to be really smooth was like the way you put it on, but it's more when you cut it. So cut it really smoothly. Make sure it's really tacked down onto your cutting mat, and it'll go back smoother. I don't know why, but that little, I tell you I'm not a perfectionist, and that little bubble's bugging me. Okay. This house is ready to go. I debated spooky trees, but I also felt like it had a lot going on already, so I opted to not do the spooky trees. I am not, it's a lot easier for me to be putting this down on glass and having it stick. Anybody who's done wood knows that you do not get this kind of adhesion on wood. It's very difficult, and you're supposed to use iron-on for wood, which is fine. Nothing wrong with it. It kind of melts into the wood when you use it that way, so you have to be really careful with that part of it. But I'm just going to put a pin in that one. It's got a little bubble there, but I'm just going to put a pin in it in a minute. Iron-on can be expensive, and then if it's expensive, you don't want to experiment as much. And so I'm kind of all about the, use vinyl on wood. I do those tall signs, the signs that you put in front of your door, the like 8-9 foot tall signs. And I always just use vinyl because there's no way I'm spending money on iron-on for it. And aside from living in Arizona, where in the summer it can get really hot, and so sometimes you have some of the vinyl come up. Most of the time you really don't have too many problems with it, so just go for it and have fun. All right, this one's got a lot more details. Anything that's got a lot more details is gonna fight you a little bit. And so that's why as I peel it back, I'm kind of bending the paper. Just gives you a chance to grab it before you find out it's not sticking to your transfer tape. Okay. Pretty cute. I'm just loving the houses, and I absolutely love that you can peek at that book paper that I've got on there. I love that you can peek at that. Okay, for this one we've got a lot of little details right in here, so I'm just going to really push those down. Do that. This makes me miss when we used to get a new Harry Potter movie every Thanksgiving. I've decided that I have kind of a big birthday coming up in 2020, and I've decided I'm going to go see Harry Potter Land. I'm kind of a Potterhead, and I just want to do that. Okay, so this is a pretty big piece. I'm going to use this one on this one. I'm just going to cut another one for this. Let's see what I've got. There's nothing worse than having your vinyl stick everywhere. It's really not helpful. So just, if you're not going to be, like right now, I'm not going to be using him. I'm going to be using him first. I just keep that backing on there. It's the worst. Okay. I was liking using that reused transfer tape because it wasn't sticking to everything. Okay. All right. Okay, so I really thought this project would go a little faster than it has. I try to keep these to an hour, but I think we're going to go a little bit over to get this one done. If you can't stick around, I understand, but I do think I'm just going to finish this on camera because I think everyone's going to kind of want to know. I might not get the old Black Magic letters on because I think I probably will use epoxy, and I definitely don't want to do that in the house. I definitely want to use the epoxy out in my garage. But everything else, I think I'm going to just barrel through and get done. Aren't they so cute, those houses? Oh, goodness. They're so cute. Okay. I love them. I'm in love. They turned out even cuter than I expected. Don't you love it when your project goes better than you had planned? Because I'm feeling like this is pretty better. This is really, really cute to me. Oh, man. Okay, so, and of course, my last house. It had to be my last house. I didn't get it on smoothly. Dang it. Everything was going on so well. Okay, so you don't really have a choice. You kind of have, if it, like half my house would look weird. I'm glad they're haunted houses and that I can, you know, do the peel up and be okay, but, and have it, you know, the fact it looks all weird is okay, but boy, that was frustrating. So what happened was I didn't lay it down smoothly before I laid everything down. So now I've got to fix my tower. And these kinds of things are going to happen when you're dealing with vinyl. And, you know, depending on the project, you might have to recut it. I feel like because it's a haunted house, it doesn't need to look perfect. It just needs to lay down. I'm okay with it. But, yeah, sometimes you just have to recut the vinyl. Move on. It's okay. It's a very good thing to be doing. All right. Those turned out really cute. I love them. I really like them. Okay, now I'm going to move on to the words. The words are a little, they're going to be a little bit harder. I'm just going to pull it down a little bit so you can see. Just because I want to get them straight. And my camera doesn't feel very straight. Let's see if that's better. So I want to get them straight, but I also, you can definitely use a ruler and a grease marker and mark it and make sure that you're exactly right. But I kind of want to get it done, and I already told you I'm not really not a perfectionistic crafter. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move all these to transfer paper. I'm using a little more than I need. This is about a 2-incher, and I'm using a little more, but I feel like I want to make sure that I can line it up on a line when I do it. So that's that one. This one. Of course, it wants to curl up on me. This one is as long as, that one's the longest one, so I'm going to go the next longest one. Do that one. I've kind of looked on YouTube, and I've decided that maybe because I'm a newbie, I am doing it wrong, but I've noticed not a lot of people do really ambitious crafts on lives. Maybe I'm a little crazy. Maybe there is a good reason for that, and I just haven't figured it out yet. I don't know. I tend to do really simple crafts on lives, and all right. And I tend to do these not so easy crafts. All right, long word strips. So you guys know long word strips are harder to put on transfer tape. You notice that before I like peeled off the whole thing and just stuck it right to the houses. Don't do that with letters. It's a bad idea. So what you're going to do with letters instead is you're going to do the fold over method. So we're going to fold over our transfer tape, and then we're going to, the backing of the transfer tape. So I've got it folded over, and now I'm just pulling it and laying down my transfer tape as I go, so that this has to lay really flat. If we want it to lay flat on our surface, it's got to lay flat on the transfer tape. It can also let you know if you're going like really crooked and you're going to miss your letters, because I've done that before too. So I'm just pulling it along as I go so that it's nice and on there like that. And then once you start to peel off the backing, it's going to stick to everything. So and it's stuck to my table. So this is a little sticky. I'm going to, I still have the backing on it, so the vinyl's not going to go down. So I'm going to definitely be using this to stick it on to my glass to make sure it's working. So I don't need that right now. So I'm just going to put the backing back on it. Move on to my apothecary. I'm never going to say it right the whole time. The whole time I'm not going to say it right. And you guys are going to be like, she never once said that word right, and you're going to be correct. I'm super excited to get this done. This is going to be so cute. And I'm just so happy with it. I mean, I realize it's a little ambitious, but okay. So I'm doing the same thing. Remember, I'm folding over that transfer tape, and I'm making sure that the word is laying super flat on the transfer tape. And see, I've gotten a little off on it. Luckily, it doesn't stick really well. So I'm pulling it back off, and I'm going to roll it back up onto the backing paper before I start again. what I did was I got Cricut, and it was not taking the tops of the, wasn't taking the tops of the letters anymore. So I got to be a little, I can be a little messy, but I can't be that messy. Okay. Nice. I'm doing the same thing again. Okay, we're starting over here because for some reason Trisha is having a little bit of a difficult time. Okay. Okay, laying it as flat as I can against all the letters, rolling it back as I go. I really want this to be flat. Perfect. Okay. And then the cauldron will be our last one. That's a word strip. Okay. So for those of you who only have the hour, I hope you got something great done. And I would love to see what you're working on, even if you're just working on it. It's okay. I'd love to see some stuff. I know that we have had some awesome members that have posted some cool things. I saw a gorgeous witch's wreath with the little witch legs hanging out the bottom. Adorable. That, I can't remember who did it. I apologize. You have to go look at it, though. It's really cute. She did it for a fundraiser, and I bet it raised money because it was adorable. And I know that Nicole is setting up an activity for a bunch of little girls. They are doing some hydropores on pumpkins, so super cool. So I know she's pretty good about posting stuff in the group, so when she gets it done. So I'm sure we'll see that when she gets done with that. And anything else you guys are working on, make sure you get them in the groups, because we're here to like support each other. We want to see what each other's doing, right? Okay, we're on to letters. I'm leaving my Black Magic there because that's what I want. And then I'm going to, I feel like my camera looks more crooked than it does for me. So I'm trying to like look at it and trying to not like have it be obviously crooked. But kind of what I'm thinking right there. And so I feel like I'm just kind of eyeballing it here. Let's see. The S goes there, and there. Maybe that needs to come down a little bit. Because I think that I'm going to grab a tape measure just so that I don't screw it up entirely. Okay, my well-used rotary cutter. All right, so I'm just looking at this. If I put that, it'll be at just right at 5 inches there. 5 inches. Okay, let's see if that's right. Okay, that's pretty straight. Oh, hit my head. Okay, that's pretty straight right there. So I've got two backers on this right now. I've got the okay. And of course this is not sticking. Okay, that's not sticking all that well. So what I'm gonna do, the letters haven't stuck as well as I'd kind of hoped they had. So I'm gonna scrape them on the transfer tape a little better. Usually with the letters being so thin, they would have adhered really well, but okay. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to take off the backing that's just the transfer tape backing. And that, so I've got a little bit of a sticky, but it's not permanent. Then I can do my remeasurement of okay. So I've got that one kind of a little stuck, so it's not going to go anywhere. Let's see. Okay. Okay, that's where that's going to go. So it's where it's going to go now, and I'm going to peel up the backing like this. Can you see how I'm doing that? And then I'm going to fold this under, and then I'm going to lay it down, and I'm going to stick my first letters. Okay. And this is a very long strip, so it's going to struggle. It's going to struggle, but we're just going to keep doing that exact thing. I see I've got the P's not sticking to the transfer paper, so I'm having to like remind it where to stick before I can lay it down. Okay, so I'm going to lay down like about one word. S is struggling too. This is long word strips are like this, but it's really important that you keep them all together because you don't want to be messing with individual letters. Like, you really don't. That is nuts. Okay. Okay, so I got spells on. It's hard to see on the camera, but I got spells on and my little bug went down. All right. So my spells looks good. Looks pretty good. I'm sorry, I'm getting up on top of it just to make sure that it's okay. And then I got my little bug. Now I'm moving on to cauldrons. Because I'm on to cauldrons, again, I'm just checking my placement before I lay down. I don't want to get too crooked. Spells looks a tiny bit crooked, but I'm having a good time. That's the important part. I have sympathy for people who want perfection in their crafts because it's very tough. All right. Okay, so we got cauldrons down. All right. Right now, I am feeling like, okay, feeling like it's going pretty good. I don't know if it's perfect, but okay, I'm going to do another measurement. Realize that one's kind of down a little bit. So Potions is kind of veering down a little bit more than I wanted it to. So I'm just going to have to make sure that I'm like definitely kind of pulling up as I go on it. Okay. And there she blows. Look how cute it looks with that behind, with the, that looks really cute. Okay. Here we go. Again, if you have to get off, I totally understand. We'll go next week and you can watch the replay when you're ready to craft again, if it's before next week. Otherwise, come to the live, please. Oh no, I almost lost one of my spider legs. I don't want that. Except it really doesn't want to stick. That's funny. For some reason, that spider leg wants to come up with the transfer tape. I don't know why. And I'm pretty bummed about it, to be honest. Okay. We're gonna have to get pretty fancy. Now, the transfer tape is sticking all on itself. So let's say you wanted to reuse this again. Just, that's not the right one. This one? Yeah, maybe this one. Just make sure you're like, you know, sticking it on as you go, because otherwise it's gonna stick to itself and you're gonna be not getting one. Okay. I'm just bound at each arm, and this little spider's not going to lose his leg. Not on my watch. Not on my watch. Definitely don't want him to lose his leg. But he just really wants to have his leg fill up. What is that about? I don't know. Okay. Let's see. I need to find a tool. I need a good tool. Where's my weeding tool that we were using earlier? I'm just throwing everything to the side, so of course I can't find it now. Darn it. Where's my spatula work? I gotta get this leg off. We don't want to amputate the leg. It's important we not amputate. Okay. I have not amputated the leg. Ladies, we saved the leg. Good for us. The bug still has its leg. Okay. I'm just like making sure that transfer tape doesn't stick all over everything. Okay. A little crooked, but yay, looks good. Looks good. I will be honest, my spells got a little high-centered right there. But, again, this is my sign. Critics can go make their own, right? Okay, I'm ready to like make sure that, so off camera, I am just taking the established and I'm just like making sure like all the pieces are pressed firm so that when we put this on here, it will come up. Okay. Okay, let's see. Just doing a little fold down like we talked about before. Am I feeling that this is centered? Let's see. I'm just going to find my center real quick because having the camera on is making it harder for me to see. 15, 20, 28, 14. That is about our center. It's right there. So this is our center right there. Okay, so that's our center is this. So I'm just going to like, okay, roughly I want that 1837 right in the center. Okay, now I also want it straight. The brooms are not, I don't know if you can tell, but one broom's higher than the other. And that was designer error, by the way. That's not required or anything. It's just designer error. So, so I don't have to like have it be right on the straight line because it's not going to be straight because designer error. Designer error. I didn't get the broom straight. Of course, the broom doesn't want to come off. Okay. So hopefully everything is just going to come off nice and easy. And then once I get my 1837 on, I'm probably going to eyeball and make sure that I okay. Yes. I say yes. Yeah, so I took a little image that was the broom and I put it there, and anyway, use your alignment tool on Design Space, ladies, or you get weird broomage like I did. It didn't matter to me enough. I didn't notice it till I was like pretty much done, and I was like, okay, I'm good. All right. So that one is done. So I don't even know, where did this white strip come from? I don't even know. Okay. Well, I just have sticky messes here with all these tapes, but whatever. All right, last one, the apothecary. Okay, off camera, I'm doing the same thing. I'm using my scraper to make sure that the letters are nice and attached, because they know what they spell even if I can't say it. Okay, so I know that the 18 is about the middle. That feels about middle to me. Okay, so I'm just going to do my fold method. I'm going to try and eyeball the straightness. Again, you guys don't have to be eyeball crafters, especially on a big sign. But try to remember that I spent $5 on the frame and the mat and everything. I spent $3 on the poster board, and I don't know what I spent on the scrapbook paper because I had it, but like right now it's 25 cents a sheet at Hobby Lobby. So 50 cents there. You know, aside from buying your vinyl, I'm not into the sign enough to have it be worrisome if I don't get it perfect. So I'm not going to be worried about it so much. You could also chalk line on glass. I mean, I thought about going out there and getting my husband's chalk line because it would work. Oh, I have to go back because the C didn't want to stick. It's hard for you guys to see it because you're like mostly seeing my hands, but I'll show you. Look, see, the C's wanting to stick to the white paper instead of clear paper, so I gotta make it stick there. So I like it if you can just press it in and then get it to stick, but sometimes you can't. So, all right. So we're back to rolling again. Back to rolling. Make sure my A comes up because it seems like this side is struggling a little more. A is up. Onto my R. My R is coming just fine. Can you imagine hand placing all these? Because we used to do that. I took art in the 80s and we used to buy sheets of stick-on letters, and you literally had to do every letter by hand. I mean, the things the Cricut has made so easy for us is incredible. Okay. All right. And she is on. Bing, bang, done. Okay. Oop. All right. I'm going to have to take a picture of this to put on the group with my cool witches hats. To date, my most popular Halloween craft by far. I get tons of visitors every year for that one. So if you haven't checked out the fabric witches hats, and I use scrapbook paper too. It's on the blog under crafts, fall, and Halloween. You should check them out because they're very, very popular. And they're very, very easy because you know me. I'm kind of an easy crafter. Actually, what I like to do is craft easy but make it look like it was a hard project. It's my favorite kind. Okay. you guys have been able to see what this looks like. I know, it's wow, right? My daughter just walked in. She's like, it's wow. It is wow. It's going to turn out really, really cute. Okay. So, and then I got to move on to this part up here, which I am going to do. And then I'm going to, you can't see the whole sign anyways with my camera set up. So I'm going to have to post pictures afterward. But when I put the live up in the, in YouTube, I will make sure that I have some pictures afterward of it hanging. But this is what it looks like when we're all done. We've got all that on. And I noticed my camera is kind of fuzzy on one side, but I think that's just the lighting. This is such an easy project, and what an easy thing to do. Like, get out to a garage sale, find yourself a cool frame and mat setup. Who cares what the picture looks like? And a little bit of vinyl, and you can make yourself any kind of sign you want. I've seen so many cute Halloween signs. If you're into Hocus Pocus, you could be like the Sanderson sisters in. If you like Harry Potter, you could, make yourself a Hogsmeade framed picture of some sort. There's so many different things that you could do with this idea. I hope that you guys use some of them, and I hope that you do something, and especially I hope that you put your crafts in the group so we can see what you guys are doing. We can cheer each other on and all of that. So thank you for coming. I'm going to end this live. Remember, we do lives every single Wednesday, no matter what. Some of the crafts are even really simple, and some of them are a little more involved like this one, but we just try to craft together. You need to make appointments to craft with yourself. If you're a crafter, it's a great way to recharge your batteries, and it only works if you do it regularly. So I'm giving you a great excuse. Just tell your kids and tell your husband that you're meeting Trish and you have an important meeting and you can't miss it. And just come on, show up for the live, because you will get a lot done and you'll feel a lot better when you get done. So thank you all for coming. I'm going to sign off now. I'm going to finish this tonight, and I will put pictures in the group. Thanks, and we'll see you next Wednesday. Hey, don't forget to sign up for our newsletter to get access to our free, huge project library. Tons of craft projects, tutorials, patterns, all for free. And in your first newsletter, you'll get invited to our chat and craft sessions, where we help you get your craft projects started and help you find time to finish them. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe.